If you don't think a minute is very long, try watching or holding your child while they seize. It's forever. Forever as you wonder if they're going to start to breathe again. Forever as you sit, helpless, really to do anything. Forever as you wonder if this is going to happen again and again and again in the next hour, 2 hours, day. Listen as one of my friends describes her experience with her son as he was hospitalized for a seizure. After 25.5 hours of slumber, he woke up. He had a seizure immediately, and after it stopped, he restarted. Then it stopped and restarted immediately again. It lasted for 1.5 hours. They gave him Ativan, again with no result. They gave him another loading dose of phosphatonin. It gave him relief for about a half an hour, and he started seizing again. The first time he has talked to me since Sunday, and he says, "Mommy, help me," and starts seizing. Stacy's story. Epilepsy means the same thing as seizure disorders. Seizures are recurrent and can happen at any time. When I tell people what they are, I tell them Stacy's brain is like a lightning storm. You never know when or where in the brain it's going to happen. In most people, they have more than one type of seizure. With Stacy, the sign could be just a blank stare to a full-on spastic shaking of the whole body. But in all cases with her, she never breathes through them, and that's why hers are so dangerous. Epilepsy is the same thing as seizures. Epilepsy is a persistent or chronic condition of the brain. It involves unpredictable, abnormal electrical discharge or misfiring of brain cells and neurons. This misfiring in the brain can cause episodes of bodily convulsions, loss of coordination, loss of consciousness, or altered sensory states. It varies from person to person. It can make a person go into convulsions and can make a person hurt themselves as they fall if they were standing. A lot of things that can make things the most difficult for them is to have a seizure and they fall and hit their heads, or many have drowned because they are in the bath as they go into a seizure. This can be fatal. There are other seizures that are called staring seizures. This is what has affected my son Jacob the most. He will just stare off and is not responsive if we speak with him. Although this is not as scary as the other types of seizures, it does still do damage, and if he is driving his power wheelchair, it could be disastrous. We have been lucky that my son has only had one grand mal seizure with the convulsion and shaking. But this one seizure almost took his life. He was luckily in the hospital when this happened. The nurse noticed his oxygen level had gone way down, and she went in to check on him. Since it lasted a while, they gave him a medication for it. We found out quickly that he's allergic to that medication. It made him stop breathing. They had to bag him 3 times. That's when they have to put something over the mouth and push air into him, like a person might do CPR on a person. His mouth was locked shut because of the seizure, so they were almost going to need to cut a hole in his throat to put his tube down so he could get some air. Luckily, he started breathing. We tried medication, and it knocked him out to try and keep the seizures from happening. He became like a zombie. It was horrible. We opted to go off the meds. This made us very nervous because if he has a seizure again, then we don't know what we will use to try and stop it. We have been lucky not to have another seizure since 5 years, knocking on wood, so we have not tried the cannabis, but it has helped many people stop having seizures or bring them down. Some people have hundreds of seizures a day and has been brought down to 2 or 3. If my son had even one more, we would want to try the cannabis oil. This is a marijuana extract called cannabidiol, delivered in drops of oil. It does not have any of the components of marijuana that get you high. The state of Utah has now passed a law to be able to take the oil, but a person would have to go to Colorado where it is legal to buy the oil. There are many drugs that if sold on the street would be illegal. The oil is extracted from a specific strain of cannabis that's high in CBD and low in THC. THC, or tetrahydrocannabinol, is the psychoactive component responsible for creating the high that the user feels. THC is also known to cause psychosis and mental decline in prolonged daily use, and over time it can cause seizures. THC is very important to avoid in long-term use. This oil has almost no THC in it. It has just enough THC in it to make the CBD or cannabidiol more effective. Based on recent research, it's become more accepted that it is the CBD that has the most medicinal benefit. When they grow the plant, they wait until just the right time to harvest it. They make sure that it is at its highest concentration of CBD before they begin to extract it into the oil. They take the dried plant and warm it up in a special solution. using a proprietary method to make sure the THC stays low and the CBD remains elevated. They mix it with another oil to help thin it out and make sure it binds properly. If they used anything else, it could dilute the oil and make it less effective. They put the oil in a syringe and the patient, parent or guardian, administers it in the dosage established. While it's not known that this will help everyone, parents want the opportunity to try. They want the same benefit for their children that Charlotte, a little 5-year-old in Colorado, got. She went from having 300 seizures a week to being seizure-free for a week after a single dose of the extract. We are so fortunate to have so many medications to help us. Pain relief, other options, ADD. Let's let these kids with epilepsy try to solve their problems so they can be learning, growing, happy members of our community. They just want what everyone else wants, a fair shot.